Hello, everybody. I'm back. Okay, not much has changed on what we're looking at here. I mean, I just figured I'd take a minute away because I'm going to watch and see what these cells do. Might be on for a couple hours here, so wanted to rest the voice. Okay, so severe thunderstorm warnings continue until 8:15 across parts of Natchitoches and Sabine Parish. You can see that warning comes right up to the border with Vernon. Not there yet, but we'll be watching that closely. These cells are packed with lightning, by the way. 939 strikes on 4.5 storms. Let's see what 4 does. 959. Oh, I'm pulling in that one now. Okay, so there we go. 862 if you want to be completely technical on this stuff. This one right here alone, this cell, 281 strikes in 15 minutes. I'm seeing it. You'll see it on the camera above me, 2 above me here. This one up in Natchitoches. Can I put the? No, I can't. Okay, the camera, not this one right here, the one above that. That's Natchitoches, and I'm seeing some lightning popping on that one. I've been watching that, and actually the Toledo Bend camera, obviously, gonna have some as well. So let's go take a look, see what we have going here. Natchitoches camera, there's your hail outlook. We're not going to do that just yet, but this is the camera up that way. Sky's starting to look pretty nasty up there, and I've seen some pretty awesome lightning strikes. This is the safe way to watch it. If you want to just pull up a camera, sit back and watch some lightning. There comes the main gust front across Toledo Bend. That'll be interesting when that hits, so I will try to time that out and get back and watch that when it happens. Let me see. Just pulling that up here. Okay, and Alexandria, we're still not looking at too much. We just have some clouds out there, and just kind of looks like it's about to storm, so not surprising there. HRRR Future Track, this is just going to show us what this model is showing for the next few hours, and again, you can see these storms. This model really does want to weaken them. It shows them kind of pulsing back up, and then again on the back side shows some sort of precipitation trying to sneak through here. There's going to be dry air at the surface, and you think, okay, well, that means no precip. Well, it means lighter precip, but it also means that we could see, sorry about that, get the sound up. That also means we could see the air cool enough to create a little bit of sleet out there. So it's something to not be stunned if you see between like 3 and 7 in the morning. Let's go back over to radar. I'll leave the camera up so I can jump right back to Toledo Bend whenever we want to come back to that. That's what it looks like right now. And yeah, that gust front is going to be right just about on top of that camera, just about to roll overhead, and probably going to roll in between these 2 main cells here. It'll still get windy though. See, I've already seen no, I haven't seen any crazy gusts there. It will get windy behind that system, and that's what we're going to see here. We're going to see a lot of wind on the backside of this, even more than we've seen throughout the day today. So let me put things in motion. That is what's going on right now. We have severe thunderstorm warnings for Natchitoches, parts of Natchitoches, and parts of Sabine Parish. Overall, I would say the trend to the north has been a downward trend a little bit, and I like that because I really thought if we saw that happen, it would start from the south. So hopefully we get this bump out here over southeast Texas where this kind of pulses up in intensity, and then we lose that here as that line continues to press toward the east, and hopefully this front can start to undercut this line just a little bit, and we'll get the storm to form more behind it than along it, because if they're just behind it, that's going to negate that tornado threat pretty well. Let's take the lightning off. We know there's tons of lightning out there. Let me take a look at some potential hail sizes on these cells right now. This one over northern Sabine Parish, maybe. I always like to kind of cut that number by 50 to 70%, so maybe we're seeing 1-inch diameter hail out of that one if you are up into northern parts of Sabine Parish. Up around Pleasant Hill, maybe you just saw this in Converse or Sardis. And then down here, these cells over Texas are even more robust here with possible hail size. Again, I reduced this by a bit, but it's possible we have golf ball size hail out of this storm that's going to be heading into western Vernon Parish. So you're going to want to protect the cars and protect whatever you can out there, because we have seen a widespread hail signature with this one for a while. I'm going to pull this off, go back out to the larger view and put the loop on. Tornado outlook for Baton Rouge, very, very low chance down that way. I don't think we're going to see an issue. I don't think we're going to see the tornado watch expanded down to Baton Rouge. I'm not saying it can't happen, but that's just my my thought process here. Okay, we'll go through and do that timing thing right now. Again, these were moving at about 40 miles per hour. It's more like 35-ish now. So let me do the squall line tracker. It's right along the rough front edge of that. Oops, screwed up. Okay. So roughly along this line, and then we're going to go at about 35 miles per hour. So yeah, that's going to be the areas impacted within the next hour or so, from Natchitoches to Leesville, Hornbeck, down into northwestern parts of Beauregard Parish, and if you're in Sabine Parish, obviously you're under the gun right now. So that's what that looks like. Let me clear that off, and I'll just show you a rough. Let's just do this. So by, what time is it, 7:40? Let's say by 9 o'clock, I expect this line to pretty much be like that. You know what? Let me redraw that. That's going to bug me. So it's going to be more like this. It's going to kind of bow back to the west a little bit. And then by 10 o'clock, I expect it to be close to the river. And again, not exact here, but then by about 11 o'clock, probably going to be out this way. And again, this southern end south of I-10 should be weakened at that point. I think we're going to see more of a weakening trend further north along this as well, and I don't expect these storms to really start to do much of anything. So this right here, 9 o'clock, I guess that kind of looks like a 9, 10 o'clock, 11, if you're just jumping in here. That's about where this line is going to progress over the next few hours. Should be pretty much clear of the area, most of the area by 10, by 11, completely out of here, and we can go to bed and not have a midnight severe threat or an overnight severe threat. Let me look at the trend on these over the last, here's what we'll do. I want to see the rainfall cores and how they have behaved over the last hour. I'm going to take the alerts off. So we had, you can really just kind of pick out the cores on these storms here. So you got 1, 2, 3. We had another one. That one's gone away for the most part. It's still there to a degree. It's not as strong as the others. So let's say 5 cores right here, maybe 6 if you count the one near Conroe, but that won't impact us. They are holding their own pretty well. They're moving quickly, 35, 40 miles per hour, so it's not putting down a lot of rain. In fact, in most cases, less than an inch, but we've seen plenty of reports of severe weather. I'm seeing Jared now is saying lots of hail reports in Simsboro, mainly small coin size. So that's to our north. No new warnings right now. I will pull the warnings back up. You're going to be able to see that lightning really popping here on the Natchitoches camera above my head. Pull the warnings and stuff back up. Tornado watch until midnight. That will be trimmed back as this line continues to accelerate across the area. We're looking at about a 35 to 40 mile per hour motion on this. So just again, with the distance here, just to track this across the area, if we're going at 40 miles per hour, that gets to eastern Vernon Parish by 8:40, 9:40. We're looking about here, eastern Rapides, and then 10:40, it's out of the area for the most part. Maybe St. Landry's still seeing something, but again, I think these storms start to weaken as they get that far to the east. Now, if you're in Lafayette, I think it's even lower chance that you see severe weather. They are not in the tornado watch, and I don't really think they'll be added. We'll watch the trends here on all this stuff, but that's the way I'm seeing it right now. I'm going to put this in motion. 75 on your back porch. Yeah, you're going to be warm for another hour or two, depending on where you are. Then it's gone. No freeze tonight. That freeze is going to happen tomorrow night, so don't worry about it. I mean, don't worry about it tonight. All right, let me look at some questions here. Yes, the Natchitoches camera is absolutely popping off with the lightning. Everyone is going to have a threat for severe weather. The entire area is under this tornado watch, so I see a lot of specific questions here. It's basically wait until a warning's issued because most of this line is warned. There's that one little gap up there in northern Natchitoches that hopefully is going to sneak through and give Wynn Parish a little break from this one. But severe thunderstorm warnings right up to the western edge of the state line there into Vernon Parish, or just west of Vernon Parish, and a severe thunderstorm warning still for Sabine and Natchitoches Parish. And most of the crazy stuff is still just west of us, or north. We're seeing a lot of that as well. Let me show you the big picture here, because this is crazy. All right, so let's just go to the national map. look at what's going on here. So this system stretches from Canada and New England all the way back down to near Houston, the northern Houston suburbs. We've gone from very warm conditions up north to a snowstorm on the backside. We have blizzard warnings from Iowa up into Wisconsin and Michigan, and you see that warm air pumping rain all the way up into northern parts of lower Michigan. So a very dynamic, strong storm system. On the southern end, we have tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, and you can see here as you get in a little bit closer, this is where the worst of this is. Lots of tornado warnings, lots of severe thunderstorm warnings, and then on this southern tail here, it does get a little bit more sparse out there. Let's just go to the Natchitoches camera. That thing's driving me crazy with that lightning. Hold on. As it gets darker, of course, we're going to see a lot more. All right, we'll get this back here, go over here. Maybe Toledo Bend camera will look good too. Okay, well, it doesn't look good at all. That looks like it's out of focus. So off to Natchitoches we go. Sometimes that happens when the rain comes in. Sorry, I'm going through 4 screens here. So the wind is definitely picking up out there at Toledo Bend. And here is Natchitoches, lightning just a-popping out there. Yeah, that's going to continue on here for the next half hour, 45 minutes or so. All right, but yeah. Going wild and crazy there. 1 second. All right. Pretty much continuous lightning here as this line continues to move on toward the southeast. Severe thunderstorm warnings have been issued for a good chunk of the area, and if you are not under that warning yet, or under if you haven't seen the storms yet, that chance is going to be increasing here as we go through the next couple of hours. It's going to be a quick one. There goes the line moving toward the southeast, almost into Natchitoches right now. Severe thunderstorm warning that does not include the city, but I think it will here shortly. Let me take a look at the Shreveport radar, because sometimes when you see up higher to these things, they're a little bit different. Notice I haven't been checking velocity much because we just have not seen a ton of rotation here in these in the last little while, which again is not terribly surprising to me. This cell up over Sabine Parish has some rotation in it, and that's in the mid-levels. Let me look a little bit lower into this one, and yeah, you can see that signature just between Zwolle and Manny right there. And let's see. The big town of Alla. Yeah, you'll get some storms in there in probably an hour and a half or so. It's going to be, so if you wonder, is it going to be bad? It's going to be windy. I know that. I know we're going to have winds out ahead of it. I know we're going to have strong winds coming in behind this, and they're going to be actually stronger behind it. The question is, along that line, what will you see? So why I can't tell you specifically what one area is going to see, you can see over the last hour how this has evolved. This cell right here is kind of perking up, moving into Natchitoches. This one here may be pulsing down just a touch, but still pretty stout. And then in between that, like Manny, you're hearing thunder, you may not get a tenth of an inch of rain, and you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. So it's really tough. It's a broken line. There's showers along the entire thing, but these cells are pretty much spaced out in a way that the difference between an inch of rain and maybe an inch in diameter hail and hardly any rain and just a lot of wind is going to be, you know, over a 10-mile stretch. No, I don't think it's going to blow away. I think we're good. Kentwood, you're way down south. I think it's going to be looking decent as you get that far to the southeast. So that's the way it's looking right now. But in Alexandria, yes, I expect us to see strong winds, and then it just depends. If this storm strengthens a bit, turns to the right, well, then we have an issue. If it slides through on the current trajectory, which, again, these things are going to morph and change over the short term, over a 30-minute to an hour-long period, and I can't tell you exactly what will happen. I mean, right now, I would say that this is severe, and you're under that warning in Manny, but there's a little bit of a gap there where it's probably not severe. Now, it's better to just be safe, you know, but that's... just, you basically want to heed the warnings, but don't worry. Put the car up now if you can, because we are seeing some areas seeing some decent hail, and I wanted to see exactly what was going on with that right now. Just 1 second. All right, so pea-sized hail reported in Ruston. It's all out of our area, so... Yeah, this is, and Lake Charles National Weather Service just said this is mainly a hail and high wind threat, but we cannot rule out the threat for an isolated tornado. But what I'm seeing right now, I mean, when I look at the velocity, yeah, there's a little something up here, but there's not that tight. That's more of a, it's not tornadic. Let's just say that. So without getting too technical, that's what I'm seeing there. And you can see here over the last little while that that has really perked up in the last 5 to 10 minutes. So could be some more of a damaging wind threat out that way. We can actually, with these storms in place right here and the way that things are set up, and yeah, that Natchitoches lightning's going crazy. You can pull that up. I put the link out there. You can go to the Cenla Weather website, which I know has not updated in a few days, but if you click on things, they're updating. It's amazing all the things I have to deal with. And so when I look at these cells, you can actually see how you notice how it's just kind of smooth down here with those reds. Well, when we get into these yellows, we always use this to track debris. I can actually see hail cores pretty well in this too. So it looks like, you know, again, up east of Pleasant Hill, and then down here southeast of Pineland, south of Hemp Hill, we probably have some pretty decent hail going on in these cells right here. So that's what I'm looking at. When you look at reflectivity, you can see it. We're just using all the tools we have in our at our disposal right here, and very strong updrafts with these storms. You can see that in the red right here. So two areas we're really watching that are going to impact us locally. And when I say locally, I mean over our 14 parishes. But other than that, this cell may clip southwestern Beauregard, but I kind of think that one's gonna drift southwest of you. And then these are the two that are going to be the big ones to watch for western Vernon. I think eventually DeRidder probably gets hit by this one pretty well, and then we'll see what this one wants to do. It looks like it's moving more east, not taking that bend toward the southeast, toward Alexandria. So like I said, we might just end up in the middle of this thing. Oh man, how we doing, guys? I'm checking the comments. Everybody be nice. Lots of lightning in Natchitoches. Oh yeah, oh absolutely. Yeah, it's pumping up that way for sure. I'm gonna actually pull that up on the big screen here. Yeah, doesn't look like the wind got over. See, that sensor's messed up. Something's not right there. I'm not even gonna tell you what it was. I've got the Natchitoches camera up here so I can watch it. Make sure I'm not seeing anything crazy on this too, because the only way you can see at night is when the lightning lights things up. So I'm just watching to see if I see any structure on this storm. I don't see anything off the wall there, but I do expect these severe thunderstorm warnings to be reissued downstream. If you are watching from northwestern Sabine Parish, the northern half of Toledo Bend, you have cleared out of the severe threat. So that's awesome news. Let me see what I have at my disposal right here, because I'm going to stick around. What the heck? I mean, yeah, I want to see the wind. And you can see, behind, there's your front right there. So the gusts out ahead of it, not much going on here. I mean, 15, 20 miles per hour. We've seen stronger gusts than that, but behind it, the gusts jump up to 20, 30, 40 miles per hour. And these are actually, I believe that is going to be the sustained wind, not the gusts. So, but there are higher gusts than what I just showed you there. There's the national radar right there, and this is going to show you the entire scope of things. This combines all our different radars into one and gives us a composite image of all of that. But yeah, there it is, that broken line of severe thunderstorms from North Louisiana into southeast Texas, and of course further up to the northeast as well. Here are the watches and warnings that are in place right now, and I will then take you back into the local radars. There we go. Okay, so this is the Fort Polk radar. You can see, actually seeing a little bit of hookage on that, or it looks like it might be trying to bend in on in northeastern Sabine Parish. So let's go ahead and take a look at velocity, make sure we're, because that's the one where we were watching things. That looks a little bit more like that would be a push of wind coming out of the southern end of the storm. I don't think that's going to be anything tornadic right there. They have extended that severe thunderstorm warning. Let me just pull it up this way. It's easier to read it. I'm craning my neck that way. Okay, so the severe thunderstorm warning, this one right here, goes until 8:15, which it's 7:53 right now. At 7:51, 2 minutes ago, severe thunderstorms were located along a line from 8 miles east of Coshada to 7 miles northwest of Manny, or along a line from 20 miles north of Natchitoches to 26 miles west of Natchitoches, moving east at 35. So that's your general speed, about 35 to 40 miles per hour on these storms. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail are possible, so bring those cars in. It's for that cell right there up there in Pleasant Hill, and eventually moving straight in toward Natchitoches. That's why we're seeing that camera just explode with lightning. Locations impacted: Manny, Coshada, Zwolle, Allen, Pleasant Hill, Powhatan, Marthaville, Belmont, Ajax, Rambin, Lake End, Evelyn, Hanna, and Armistead. So that is what we're looking at right there. Now notice here, I'm going to go over to velocity once again. There's a little bit of a convergent signature here. I don't see anything tight on the rotation that would say that there's going to be a tornado out of that. Now, the reason with these storms, when they're right along the front like that, they just don't have as much time to create enough spin to create a tornado, because they're going to get undercut by that colder air a lot of times. So these storms are kind of shape-shifting along the way. This one I'm watching, it's possible. It's just not the ideal setup for that. We would be looking for a warm front and all kinds of different things. We're not going to get into all that. We're just going to watch what we're seeing right now. No time for weather school. Let's see. All right, and just waiting on reports now to see what people are seeing. Let me know what you're seeing. I'm not going to put the damage report thread up yet. I don't want it to get buried. All right, back over to the comments. Oh, thank you, Heather. I appreciate you. Power outages, let's check them. Yeah, I'll just go over here. I'll just do the whole state. Total number of power outages. Let's see. There's Natchitoches. Whoa, that was bright. Actually, I think to get the numbers, I have to do it closer in. Not a ton of power outages right now, by the way. I expect more as we go through the evening. But right now, I don't know why I'm not getting a number on it. Let me try this. They all look the same, just so you know. That's a percentage. That's this. Okay, there we go. 200. Finally got us a winner. So 200 in Sabine Parish, roughly. They round this to the nearest 100. I'm going to delete these guys out of here, leave that. And let's see if we have an update on a couple of things here. Future track. Yeah, so the HRRR looks like it's really going pretty linear with this. Couple of cells try to stay separate there. So this is an updated run there, and that, so just to show you on timing, this would probably get out of here at, 11 o'clock-ish for St. Landry Parish, and then comes this little weirdo coming through here. I've got to look at something, and I'm gonna leave the radar going. Actually, let's go back to the Natchitoches camera. I want to look at something on the back end here. I'll pull you into what I'm doing here. It's again, you know kind of what's going on here. We have a few severe thunderstorms in the area, not a tornado threat from what I'm seeing right now. Hail and isolated damaging wind is the main issue. So what I'm doing is pulling something up to take a look at what's going to happen later tonight, which could be kind of interesting. So I'm going into Pivotal Weather, which if you're a weather nerd, it's a great site. I need to do another post on that where I just talk about cool sites and stuff like that. But let's pull up the radar so you have that going. Put it in motion. There's your severe thunderstorm warnings. Do we have any new ones? Not yet, but we have two main cells that we're going to be watching. So I'm going to go through this. So what we have is we basically have another impulse that's going to rotate through this trough. Now, most of the moisture is going to be gone. The low levels, the moisture will be gone. But we're going to have some pretty strong upward motion aloft that's going to create precipitation that's going to fall into that very dry layer. Now, let's jump over just briefly so I can show you this. Okay, this is a sounding. So when which is weird because the green goes over the red. That's not supposed to happen. But when the red and green are right next to each other, that means it's saturated. That means you can't get any more moisture into that air mass. So we have a saturated air mass. These red bars, that's lift from about 10,000 up to about 25, 30,000 feet. So there's going to be strong lift up there. It's going to create snowflakes. Now, they're going to fall into this dry layer. So these, as they get further away, dries out. So it evaporates. And as that happens, things cool down. So we get toward this blue line on temperatures, and you can see the 0 right here. There's a very small layer that's above freezing. So it's not impossible that we see some sleet. And I can't even rule out the possibility that we would see a snowflake out of this. It's interesting. But, I mean, this is now generating. This is on the backside of this. This is pivotal weather. And it's pulling this band through. This is the 7 a.m. radar depiction, 6 a.m. So 6, 7, don't do it, 8 o'clock, and then 9 o'clock. So there could be a little band of something. I'm going to wake up and check it out. I'm not going to miss this if it happens. I'm on a snow roll. So let me pull that off. Go back to radar. That was just a little detour to show you what's going on. What about Winfield? Actually, Winfield, you're looking really nice. You're looking like you are sitting, you're living right up that way, because this cell here, it's going to be close. You may end up on the northern end, but if there were something tornadic or something like that, that would be more down here into the southern end of this cell, but I haven't seen much going on with that. So I think Winfield, you're actually looking pretty good. Let me see the velocity right now. Yeah, no, nothing jumping out at me. Yeah, I think hail and isolated wind are going to be your main issue with these cells, and I think the worst of it passes south of Winfield. But yeah, it's these main two cells right here. So northern Wind Parish is looking pretty good. Northern Natchitoches Parish, extreme northern, you're looking pretty good. No, I did not say schools would close. I mean, no, they're not closing. But I think I wouldn't be surprised to wake up and see a little something kind of crazy out there. You heard it here. I don't know if you heard it here first, though. From the National Weather Service, the 3 severe thunderstorm warnings in their area, those 3 cells that are covered by the Lake Charles area are producing 1,500 lightning strikes per 5 minutes. That is insanity. Yeah, 80s to possible snowflakes in 12 hours. Yes, it is crazy. We're seeing it to the north. It's a little less typical down this way. Oh, come on, Natchitoches, did the camera go out? It might have gotten blasted offline by some of that lightning. Let me see, let me refresh. Oh, no, we're good, we're good. Oh, we can actually, I can probably catch that because there's a little delay. Let's see if we can get this. Okay, watch right in the middle. Should get a good lightning bolt here in not too long. I think it's like a 15-second delay, which is why if we ever had a tornado, I would go active to the back end of this thing and show you that. Come on. Thinking. There we go. Got it. Okay, it was over to the right a little bit. That was cool. Okay, let's it's the benefit of the delay, I guess. I can see it here, and then I can show you. So tons of lightning out of these storms. Wind gusts also going to be a major issue. So behind this line, we're going to go from the southerlies to probably 40+ mile per hour northwest wind gusts. If you have to be outside or something randomly in the middle of the night, it's going to be very windy, so hold on to your hat, but I would say most of you are just going to be sleeping. We could lose power, though. I mean, 40 mile per hour wind gusts, especially with the storms we've seen lately. We have a lot of loose limbs out there. I actually lost a big limb in that last storm we had. So any limbs that are just up there kind of hanging out over the power lines, they can come down and cause some problems. Let me go back to radar. We'll talk about that. Severe thunderstorm warnings continue. I'm going to wait to see what kind of reissuance they're going to do on these. And they did update the SPC outlook, so let's just hop over there because we can. Yeah, so they kept us in the slight. They finally have removed the enhanced from Louisiana, so I'm not surprised to see that. Let's go. Okay, let's go here. Mainly wind driven here, 15% chance of severe winds greater than 60 miles per hour within 25 miles of a point, and the tornado risk is down to 2% from 5. So that's good. This is more in line with what I've been thinking. Hail outlook down to 5%. That's a little wonky to me because we actually have ongoing storms producing severe hail. I don't know. I don't pretend to know why decisions are made, but that's all right. So tornado watch continues, and I'm sorry, I have I get the fuzzies off this mic, and I always trying to clean that thing off because they get on my face and they just itch like crazy. So severe thunderstorm warnings continue for Natchitoches and Sabine Parish. Still nothing for Vernon, but I would guess that's coming pretty soon. New one issued just north of us. That's not going to impact us. I'll put this in motion here. Let me know if you're seeing hail, by the way. Let me see. Okay. Tornado threats it's low. So this is realistically kind of what I thought was going to happen. I thought this line would weaken a bit as it came in. A little surprised it got as robust as it did. It is breaking up. You see how we don't have a solid thin line of storms out of this. A lot of times when you see these isolated cells, you're going to see a higher hail threat. We're seeing that. I think that there could be isolated damaging winds still, but I'm encouraged to see that the wind profile of these things, and I'm going to look at my other app here, the wind profile on these has not been over the top. I'm watching the cell coming into Vernon Parish, but I still just don't see anything stout with that. Nothing that would prompt any sort of tornado warning from what I'm seeing. And everything's been pretty linear as it goes so far. So when I say that, I mean we're not seeing these kinks in the line. We're not seeing these individual cells really spinning. Even aloft. I mean, these are supercells, but we're not seeing that strong, crazy spin that we can see. 22 mile per hour gusts, a lot of wind after the line passes. Yes, Dalton, that's going to be a thing. We're going to see 40 plus mile per hour gusts behind this. So I think behind this for a lot of us are going to be worse than the storms themselves. Not if you're right underneath one of these supercells, but up here toward, let's say you're watching me from Galdana. You're going to get a sprinkle, you're going to hear some thunder, and then the wind behind that front's really going to pick up. Let me see if I can pick up exactly where that front, yeah, okay, so there's your front right there. Temperatures are dropping a decent bit behind this. Let me get you some specifics on that. I want to see where Shreveport is right now. Shreveport's down to 60. They were up at 81 today. The front came through, and it went from 79 to 59 in the stretch of 20 minutes. So about a 20-degree drop, well, exactly 20-degree drop. And then it kind of planes out, and then we'll get that secondary push of cold air to come in behind this. But that first push is going to knock you down about 20 degrees, maybe a little bit less than that because we're cooling off as we get later into the evening. But you will notice it. It is going to feel different behind this front. And, a surge of wind coming into Natchitoches right now. Let's watch and see there's a new warning. I will read you that as we look at the Natchitoches camera as this thing comes right overhead. Starting to see a few raindrops on the camera. We'll see if we keep power on it. Let me get you the latest. Actually, I'm going to go this way. All right, so severe thunderstorm warning. The latest was just issued 8:06 p.m. West Central Grant Parish, Southwestern Wind Parish, Natchitoches Parish, Southeastern Red River, and Northeastern Sabine Parish. You are under this warning. I'll show you the drawing on it in just a second. But here's the camera showing the actual thunderstorm as it comes in. Line of severe thunderstorms located along a line from near Campty to 6 miles east of Manny, or along a line from 16 miles north of Natchitoches to 20 miles southwest of Natchitoches, moving southeast at 35 miles per hour. This is going to bring 60 mile per hour wind gusts and hail up to the size of quarters. That could damage vehicles, roofs, things like that. Could knock down trees and all that stuff. This is going to be impacting Natchitoches, Campty, Montgomery, Allen, Provençal, Natchez, Clarence, Galdana, Calvin, Robeline, Atlanta, Powhatan, Grand Ecore, St. Maurice, Bermuda, Clear Lake, Flora, Hazelwood, and Cypress over the next little while here until 9 p.m. on that warning. So this one goes for another 52 minutes, and I'm just kind of watching to see what happens as this approaches the camera site. You can see that kind of shelf cloud there as it lights things up. And this should be into Natchitoches fairly soon. Looks like the strongest hail core is actually going to be back toward Roebeline. Let me show you that on radar. I will keep this camera up where I can see that there. Ooh, some good lightning. All right, so over to the radar. There comes your surge of wind right into Natchitoches. Could cause some power outages. Whoops, wrong thing. But yeah, that's going to be the heavier hail core right here. And let's see if that's ascending or descending. We'll see if it's going to hail right over Roebeline or what's going to happen here. And then I'll move through this and see what we got going on. Okay. So it looks like on the forward flank of this thing, it's elevated. Everything from 10 to 20,000 feet pretty much is going to be frozen, and then it's dumping out on the backside there. So yeah, pretty decent hail core with this storm. I wouldn't be surprised to see larger than quarter sized out of this. So if you are in the Roebeline area, you want to seek shelter, and hopefully you brought that car in. Let's go to this. And that's what we're looking at right here. This core on the storm on the southwestern side there near Provençal, possibly some hail coming in that way. Natchitoches, you're about to get clobbered. And as I've been saying, tons of lightning out of this. Though it looks like it has kind of come down a little bit. 161, and that includes some of that cell. So 144 strikes in the last 15 minutes. Still quite respectable. Tons of lightning on this cell west of Leesville as well. So if you are in any of these areas that are under the warning, and I think most of Vernon and parts of Vernon and Beauregard are going to be under this warning fairly shortly, so you're not into it yet, and hopefully we'll see this weekend and won't need the warning. But the way it looks to me right now, I think we're going to see some sort of severe thunderstorm warning. I don't see much of a threat for a tornado, so that's pretty awesome news. Let me go into the velocity and make sure I'm not lying to you. No, I'm telling you the truth. I'm also watching the Natchitoches camera because I'll pull it up whenever it gets a little hectic and crazy here. Okay, let's see. Rain has started in Natchitoches. Some rotation out there. Let's see. Put it in motion. I'm not seeing anything that would prompt a warning just yet. Really thinking this is mostly a hail and isolated damaging wind threat. It's a ton of lightning out there. Dime-size hail in Roebeline. Thank you, thank you. Just got to Sibley Lake and Natchitoches. Okay. Let's take a look. Because I'm looking at Sibley Lake, and yep, there it is. Ooh, we're going to have some big strikes here coming up in just a little bit. But this is, and judging by what I'm seeing, I mean, the lights are still on, so that's a good sign. And I'm not seeing like power flashes or anything like that. But again, we're about to get some pretty big lightning strikes here. So coming up in just a second, you'll see that. Tons of lightning. So there is some hail involved in this one. There you go. That was the big stuff right there. And we're going to see more of the same of that here over the next little while. Let me see. Okay. So there's the Natchitoches camera. The storm has arrived. If you're there, you know it. And there comes the wind and the rain coming overhead. Still, again, not seeing anything over. The highest gust I've seen is 28 miles per hour. We can handle that. But I will keep that up in the background just to check things out. And I actually need to put up a post. I'm going to do this just so you can send any sort of pictures, damage, anything like that. Oh, sorry, I should pull the radar back up. Yes, there's tons of lightning, but you know that. Say these things. Of course, only do it when safe. You should know that. I'm talking to myself now. Okay, of course, only do it when saved. There we go. Post it. Okay. Yeah, so if you have any pictures of any damage or anything like that, let me know. Um, I keep up with the comments here, but it's tough to do everything because I'm checking this thing, watching this as the storm comes over Natchitoches, waiting to see if the wind is going to switch directions and all that. But yeah, that thing's right on top of Natchitoches right now, and that is going to continue to quickly move on to the east. So that'll be through here shortly. Here is your latest radar loop, new severe thunderstorm warning. That's the one I was figuring was going to be issued. That's for parts of Vernon and Beauregard Parish. Let's go and read that to you. How about that? Let me get back in the video. There we go. Sirens are going off. Okay, it's not a tornado warning, but I never know what the policy is on sirens for certain places. I am watching that just to see if the wind's coming up on it. But let me read you this warning here, the latest one over parts of Vernon and Beauregard Parish. The National Weather Service in Lake Charles has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Newton County, Texas, as well as southwestern Vernon and northwestern Beauregard Parish. A severe thunderstorm was located over Farsville, or 7 miles west of Burkeville, moving southeast at 30 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail are possible. This will impact DeRidder, Newton, Rosepine, Maryville, Singer, Bonweir, Burkeville, Fort Polk, Farsville. I think the worst of it stays just south of Fort Polk. It's close. You could still see some hail. Farsville, Burr Ferry, Mayflower, Jamestown, Junction, Stringtown, Weirgate, Evans, and Pickering. So you are under a severe thunderstorm warning, and that is going to last until 9:15 p.m. Just checking the Natchitoches camera again, and let me go in and peek at velocity on this. There's your little surge of wind that came through Natchitoches. I still didn't see a crazy, and I'm watching the trees and everything, so I think we're pretty accurate on this. I think the wind's going to pick up behind this, but so far I'm not seeing any crazy wind gusts coming out of this, but a big old lightning strike just now. There's your new severe thunderstorm warning. Again, not seeing a rotation signature here, but these storms are going to help to push this front along at about 35-ish miles per hour. Sometimes it's moving at about 40. Sometimes it backs off a little bit. But there go these two cells that are keeping us busy here across the area. But notice earlier we had like a solid line of warnings. Now we're just down to these two warnings right here, and anything that tries to develop out ahead, it's not panning out because they don't have they have a cap in place. So that's holding things down. All these cells that try to form, they're not having any success as of now. Ragley, yes, you could see a severe thunderstorm within the next hour or so. That's coming in from the northwest. It's breaking into mostly just individual cells right now, and I'm again looking at all my data here behind the scenes because you just kind of keep it rolling and keep talking through it. Let's see, we got another update on this. Yeah, it looks like these to me are going to transition to more just behind the front, and it's going to weaken as this line moves through. Now, still warnings in place here and still a threat for some isolated damaging wind and isolated hail, but to me the thing that's just super interesting is the fact that that impulse comes through later tonight, and it's going to produce some radar echoes overhead, and possibly even some isolated areas, patches of sleet, and maybe a snowflake. Two areas of rotation that they're watching in Newton County. Let's take a look. I see them. I see what they're seeing. You can see that front. So most of the storm, these storms are tied right along that front, right along that boundary. So that's going to continue to be the case as it surges on toward the southeast. And that's not an ideal environment to get tornadoes to develop, which I think most of you are fine with. Let's put this in motion again. This is over the last hour. And so this is, like I said, over the last hour. So I'm going to do a little distance track and do my own measurement on exactly how fast these are moving. And yeah, it's right at about 35, 36 miles per hour. That's how fast these have been moving. And they may start to surge a little bit more as these cells have kind of rooted in. And these are the most dominant cells out of this, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them not only accelerate a bit, but maybe even dive a little bit toward the southeast. That's what these do as they get a bit stronger. So we'll watch on that. But no tornado warnings. That's great news. Again, I was a little surprised about the tornado watch, but it's happening kind of as I expected. A couple of severe cells in the area, but nothing quite crazy over the top. Nothing that we're not used to, you know. Natchitoches is down to 63 from 77. So down to 63. Wind gusts are not really showing up here. Dew point's down to 59. The wind has turned around. It's starting to come in more from the west, and that's going to veer around to the northwest. And once that happens, things are really going to cool off. So I'm going to move it over to Leesville here and take a look at that camera, because I do think we're going to see a lot of lightning out of this one. I have that pushed to the northwest, and that's the view we're going to have on that. So 2 supercell thunderstorms in the area right now, tied to a very strong cold front. We have severe thunderstorm warnings going on with that, and I'm going to jump over to the comments and see what's going on. Southeastern Grant, no warning just yet. I'd watch this cell right here, though. Again, it looks like they're going more from like that cellular nature to just kind of a thinner line of storms now. So I do like to see that. I am watching that area. I'm watching these storms out in southeast Texas here for potential rotation. That's going to be our most likely area to see that. Seeing a little bit of that right now with this northern end of the storm in Newton County, but nothing that imminently jumps out as a tornadic threat to me. You know the crazy thing? I sit so long in this seat, I have to adjust and kind of stretch out a little bit, because last time I did severe weather coverage for like 4 straight hours, I got up, picked up my laptop, and threw out my back. Because I'm old. All right. Nothing doing there. I mean, just still seeing those hail cores involved with these cells. Those little areas where it gets a little yellower. Let me check my my damage report thread just to see if anybody's saying anything there. Oh, you know what I also wanted to do? Sorry, guys. I know last time it kind of got buried in warnings, so I'm going to pin this post to the top when I'm live. That way people can see it pinned up there. It's going to be easier to find. Okay. Damage reports, electricity blinked a few times on Toledo. Coteal, there's nothing, just a light breeze. Oh, I got a video of hail. I'm going to watch this. Thank you, Robin, for sending that. That's in Natchitoches. Looks like maybe P to ½ inch, maybe a little bigger than that sized hail. That's from Robin Prothrow. She sent that. You know what? I'll just pull it up. Why not? There's no sound on. I didn't put the sound on it. I think I can do this. That's from Robin out of Natchitoches. Posted it on the page there. So that's the hail they are seeing at her location, or his. I don't know if that's a. I don't know. Whoops, there's Tom Convica. Hey, I know that guy. Well, here. I was going to keep trying to see this. Let's go into this. Okay. You're just seeing me surf the web now. All right. Okay, let's go back to the radar. There is your severe thunderstorm that is producing hail in Natchitoches, as I saw, or as we saw together on that camera shot there, on that camera from Robin. Severe thunderstorm warning with that cell. Severe thunderstorm warning also continuing down here for this one that is for parts of Beauregard and Vernon Parish. So let me put this in motion. I'm going to take the warnings and stuff off. I'm going to put it in motion and leave it kind of uncluttered here. But you see how these cells, they went from kind of, they're all by their lonesome to, it looks like that line's trying to hook together and become a little bit thinner, a little bit less supercellular. Now, this one still has supercellular characteristics. They both do. But I'm kind of hoping this line can come together. We can see these storms just form along the line. not saying I want that to bring you severe weather. What happens then, what I think would happen in this very forced kind of situation is we'd see some gusty winds along this. It would probably take the hail threat down, and I would think it would probably keep that tornado threat pretty low, which it is. I mean, we're down to a 2% threat on the tornado, even though we have a tornado watch in place. So this line continues to push fairly rapidly, about 35 plus miles per hour. Looks like we have a new warning coming out, so let me go take a look at that. Yeah, it's for that cell down there. Severe thunderstorm warning. I will go and read you that one. But Sabine Parish, severe threat's over. I know you're under the tornado watch still, but it's over. You are good to go. Go to sleep. Well, no, it's like 8:23. Stay awake. Okay. All right. Back into the comments. Perfect. Okay. Any snow? You know what, Avery? I can't rule out a few flakes or some sleet overnight tonight. I don't want to sit here and I don't want to overstate that, but it's interesting. Okay. Sorry, guys. I have to look at a sounding. That's an atmospheric profile. Whoa. That's crazy. So there's a few things we look at in meteorology. Now there is a strong cap in place with this, but one interesting thing is the sounding. The atmospheric profile out of Lake Charles shows crazy lapse rates, which means it gets a lot colder as you go up, and it happens really quickly. And they're seeing lapse rates on this sounding, this atmospheric profile that supports large hail, and that's why we're seeing this. Pretty solid setup for that for sure. So I had to nerd out for a minute and look at that. I will now go over to, okay, I got another report. Hail in Natchitoches. All right. Okay, so that new severe thunderstorm warning, let's go to that. 8:23 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located over Burkeville, moving southeast at 30 miles per hour. That has prompted a severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Beauregard. Oh, wait. Nope. I want the new warning. I'm sorry. 8:22. Southwestern Beauregard and southwestern Louisiana, southwestern Newton County, and then east central Jasper County in Texas. This is a severe thunderstorm that is located over Kirbyville, Texas, moving east at 40 miles per hour, so accelerating just a bit. 60 mile per hour wind gusts and $half sized hail are possible with this, and it's going to impact Kirbyville, Singer, Call, Fields, Devil's Pocket, Trout Creek, Bivens, Bancroft, Old Salem, and Bleakwood. So if you're in southwestern, actually, if you're in any western part of Beauregard Parish, severe thunderstorm warning going on for you as these storms continue to accelerate onto the east-southeast. Looking at the Lake Charles radar just to see a different angle here. And again, like I've been saying, it's becoming a thinner, more linear line of storms here. It's kind of pushing through Monroe. They have a severe thunderstorm warning up there. If you're in that area, please tune into Chief Meteorologist Jared Floyd at the Digital Weather Desk, and he will be watching that for sure. We are still, by the way, angling to get Cajun Power on as a sponsor. So if you have any hookups there, I made that post on my page the other day and it went nuts. So yeah, that's good food. Anyway, we have severe thunderstorm warnings going on from Natchitoches and Wynne into Grant Parish, and then down here into southwestern Vernon and parts of western Beauregard Parish. So that is the latest on that. Now I'm looking to see if I have any more videos or anything out of that Natchitoches cell, because that stuff is so helpful. Let's see. All right. No, nothing crazy. I'm getting reports from friends in Natchitoches of the hail that they're seeing. Trying to get some sizes. Yeah, pea and dime size. So that's not going to damage your roof. And I know Mark at Igloo Roofing doesn't want to hear that, but it's good. It's good for you because you don't have to, deal with all that. But if you do, if you had huge hail and your roof was dinged up, Igloo Roofing, you know that. So this is what we have going on radar right now. We have some pretty hefty stuff moving through the area from west to east. So that's what that's looking like. Let me see something here. One quick pop over to the Leesville camera. Natchitoches, it's just raining now, and that'll be ending pretty soon. So this is looking west toward that more severe thunderstorm, the storm that's severe off to the west. I think I just saw a lightning flash here in Alexandria. Leesville, I don't know why I'm not seeing more lightning out of this. I'm seeing the blinks there, but I figured I would see a little bit more than that. So it is, it's about to push into that area. So if you are under that warning, severe thunderstorm warning, until I believe that one is 9:15, and I'll pause it so I'm not chasing this thing. And then 9 o'clock up into Natchitoches, Wynne, and parts of Grant Parish. All right, severe thunderstorm warnings continue. They look a little less impressive. Let's see what we're dealing with on the lightning here. That one, again, west of Leesville, definitely having the most out of this. 1,000 strikes in the last 15 minutes, roughly, from Monroe down through Lumberton. And that cell up in Natchitoches definitely losing some of its lightning. So I would be just 100% fine to see these weaken and go away, because they're moving a little bit slower than I thought. But you can see that that progress is steady toward the southeast right now, and it looks like it might be accelerating just a bit. So let's take a look at that on this southeastern storm. Here we're looking at about 30 miles per hour on the southeastern storm, and it's tough to just, okay. And then on this one, we're looking at more 35 to 40. So a little bit slower on the south end and a little bit quicker up on the northern end. And you can kind of see that in the line here as it continues to kind of kink out to the north. Let me show you. But again, that upper level system's moving eastward. It's moving away from us. And I think what we're going to see is these southern storms, we're going to see those weakening a bit as we get into the next couple hours. Let me turn off the lightning, get all the clutter out of here. Okay, so putting this into motion, yeah, that northern spoke of the line moving eastward much more quickly, and then down here to the south, this is not moving quite as fast, and it's going to continue to kind of crash to the southeast. So I think we'll see this weaken as it continues to the southeast. You can see those cells near Houston. They are doing so. That cell there on the tail end really going away, and then everything moving in toward Houston has weakened significantly. And I think, like we saw the line increase toward the southwest earlier, I think we're going to see it decrease from southwest to northeast here over the next couple of hours. That is the look from the Fort Polk radar. Let me pull the warnings back up. There you go. There is a tornado watch, but I think this is more of a severe thunderstorm watch type of deal here. Fort Polk, you should expect. What should you expect? Okay, let's get it in here so I'm not screwing up. I want to see exactly where it is. Right there. I think the worst of it stays south of you. I think you're gonna obviously hear thunder. You're gonna see some heavy rain, but it's gonna last about 20 minutes, and the worst of that's gonna be out here toward Rose Pine, and then perhaps DeRidder, and then back here to the west toward Junction, and then down toward Tulla and Carson. That's where this is gonna kind of crash toward the southeast. Oops. And we have another mesoscale discussion. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. Y'all are fantastic humans. Now that's east of us. But they are talking about issuing another tornado watch to the east of us. I'm trying to see. They haven't shown me the picture just yet. Okay, but it's not us, so not going to be concerned with it. All right, so to recap, tornado watch continues. Severe thunderstorm warnings continue as well. Fortunately, I'm not seeing a ton of damage reports, so that's good. Seeing some, power blinked, things like that. Let me just, again, here on the back side of things, which is basically just my browser, I'm going to look and see what we have in Louisiana. 1,700 now without power at Natchitoches Parish, so that's pretty significant. Sabine, 1,560. Nobody really in Wynn. 43 in Wynn, 20 in Vernon. Beauregard, nobody showing up. So yeah, so Natchitoches and Sabine, those are the areas where we're seeing the greatest concentration of power outages. So that storm, fairly windy up that way. Hail and DeRidder, it's possible. I don't see this as being very large. I would imagine if we're seeing hail out of that storm, it's probably less than an inch in diameter. I'll bet it's going to show a little bit bigger when I click on this, but let me just, again, I reduce this because this is showing me hail that's aloft in the storm. It's going to melt some on its way down. It has probably about 10,000 feet to go through where it's above freezing. So let's check and see for the area moving your way. Okay, 1.25, probably looking at dime-sized hail out of that. So yeah, we're looking at smaller hail out of this. I don't see that as a very significant core right there. Let's just check the Natchitoches one. We know that did have some hail. Yeah, again, it looks like these storms are weakening a bit. I still think there's going to be a lot of wind issues with this, but from what I'm seeing there, probably not going to see a ton of large, crazy hail with this. And yes, that tornado watch that is likely going to be issued eventually, I think they will. I had said earlier I didn't think they would include Baton Rouge in that area. Here's what's confusing. Okay, I'm going to show you something. Let me go over here. So they're talking about issuing a tornado watch over southeast Louisiana. And they have a 2% tornado contour with nothing south of that. And they just issued that. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So we shall see. But again, out of my area, so I'm not going to quibble with that. Well, I guess I am. What the heck? Latest severe, this is actually lagging a little bit behind, I believe. So again, it's like 1,500 there, about 1,700 in Natchitoches without power right now. So if you are in these areas, hopefully they'll get it back on quick, but it's going to be really windy overnight tonight. So it could be a little bit of it could be a tough sled to do that. I'm pretty close to kind of just backing away here for a little bit because I don't see these as dangerous severe thunderstorms. Probably a lot of gusty wind behind it. I know there's a lot of gusty wind behind it, but I'm thinking, it's hailing in Evans. How big is that looking? How big is that hail if you have any? I would imagine there's nothing over like an inch in diameter right now. So you see how that line's kind of coming together. Thank you, Kimberly. Y'all are amazing. So some areas not getting much. You can see there that little kind of blank area in between Leesville and Natchitoches. There's a little rain. That's about it. Thank you, Emily. I appreciate you. But these severe storms are looking weaker than they did just a little while ago. This one is definitely the stronger of the two. But you can see how this thing went from a rock-solid core of activity to more of just a mishmash of something might be happening. Maybe some small hail still down here between Provençal and Montgomery near Cypress, right along 49. But that would be brief and probably less than severe criteria, which is an inch in diameter. If you're around Rose Pine or DeRidder, this cell is coming into your area and could produce some hail. But again, I don't see this as damaging, crazy, like golf ball or larger sized hail. I like to see this line becoming more linear, which it's been linear, but it's been more individual cells. It looks like they're kind of connecting up, and that's hopefully what's kind of driving that hail threat down. So, Creola, what are you looking at? I mean, the way it's looking now with this one trending down, and I'll show you, and I hope this actually works. Let's see if we can put this in motion. And we had a pulse up there. So you can see, we can track the strength of these storms. Out to the southwest, they're weakening. That one near Woodville perked up, got a severe warning. You see that we're seeing another little green blip in there. This is just showing me how much rain's accumulating. So that's our strongest one right there. And this is the rain that accumulates over the last hour. So as this storm moves through Natchitoches, you can see that right as it kind of approached town, it looks like it's starting to weaken a little bit. So we're seeing a downward trend in activity here over the last, I'd say, 45 minutes or so. So with that, I am going to take a little break here. If I have to go back live again, I certainly will. But if it's a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, you get the notification. you go in and you stay inside, you're probably going to be just fine. Behind this, a lot of wind. I'm going to actually go and work on a text update now for the stuff that's happening beyond this. And I will get back with you soon. I wouldn't load up anything. I wouldn't move. I wouldn't go and worry too terribly about this. So I see that question from Plocheville. I would say just kind of hang out, do what you're doing. And there's part of me, when I'm doing this stuff, I don't know if it would look weird, but I may try this at some point to where I'm just sitting here doing what I'm doing behind the scenes, leave the thing up, and then I can say something every once in a while. Any thoughts on that? Is that weird? Like, would it be weird if you just popped it on and I was being quiet? I watched this guy. I'll give him a free plug. It's called Agenda Free TV on YouTube. And all he does is he just kind of gathers stuff up, and he doesn't put his opinion into it or anything, but he just shows you kind of what's happening. And half the time he's just not talking, and he's looking up and he's doing stuff, and because we're doing like 15 different things. So I don't know. Maybe that's what I should do. I don't know. Well, y'all are just giving me stars. Like, y'all are being amazing. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll try it out for a little while. I'm going to go make a post, and I'm just going to sit here. I'm even going to move the microphone away for now. So yeah, I'm just going to stay here. You just explain. I need you guys in the comments to explain to people what's happening, though. Maybe I can pin a comment. I'll try it. I'm going to try it. They did just measure a 54 mile per hour wind gust in Natchitoches on the backside of that storm. So that's where the cold front is right now. It's on the backside of these storms, and that's when that wind kicked up. I'm going to go back to, the background here. But again, this was what I wanted to test out. I can pop on and say, hey, that was interesting. I'm showing 44 was my max gust. But that shows you that as this front rolls through, we are going to see those winds really pick up and they're going to stick that way. So that's the latest from that cell right there. Other than that, nothing's really changed. So now what I'm doing is I'm actually going in and grabbing images of stuff to add to this. So that's what I'll do. You see that? You see what I'm talking about? I know you can't see it really well, but that's the HRRR showing that as snow over Mississippi. And again, it would not be a stunner to see some sort of mix overhead. That's crazy. Okay. Capture that. This is what I do when I'm making my posts. I come in here, I find the images I want. There's actually a red flag warning we haven't been able to talk about because there's just tons of stuff going on. So yes, the burn bans, they're not with us any longer. I'm sure no one's sad about that. But with tomorrow being so windy and so incredibly dry, we definitely want to, if you can avoid it, not burn tomorrow. It's probably not the highest threat in the world, but with strong winds and very dry air, these things can spread quickly. So I was talking about that. And let's do a wind gust map. See, you want to balance it between like I want to show reality, not drama. So I don't want to sit there and try to find the exact image where Alexandria has the craziest thing. But you can see here, this gives us a pretty good idea what's going to happen around 1 a.m. Whoa, that was some crazy lightning above my head. Hey, this is kind of fun doing like a stream of consciousness where I'm just chilling here. Okay, so we captured that. There's my dog Cole right there. If you had any trees down, text him. Igloo Roofing. Got the updated phone number, 419-4540. And then one more, what I want to do. Ooh, yeah, let's try this out. I can only add 4 images through the system. That's just my wife. She's making noodles. Spaghetti night. Like I said, Cajun power. So let me pull up what I want to do here. Okay. Let's do wind chill. Look at that. I mean, the wind chill doesn't get, I mean, it gets up into the 40s tomorrow, but yeah, then it dives back down tomorrow to the 20s. I'm still live, Kristen. Trying something different. Okay, so I'll capture this. All right, I think I have enough of the crazy in this now. Okay. Now I'll post it, and you'll see a post pop up from me. How's that? And then we'll go back to radar. It's in the process of posting, so I don't want to click out of anything yet. Yeah, it takes a little bit. Okay, posting successful, so you can see what I was just working on. And now let me see how many of you have stuck around. 418 of you guys are warriors. 409. What? Me, 419. She just got on. Okay, awesome. Okay. I don't know why that would have hidden that, Suzanne. Why is that hidden? Unhide. No. I just text 419-4510. Yeah, I don't know why that comment was hidden. I don't know if it's because it's a phone number or something, but yeah, I'm making it public here. Text Mark or call him, 318-419-4540. Absolutely. Wyatt, I'm answering you, brother. You're good. Yeah, I think you're all set. So, you know, you're going to see some storms coming toward Plocheville, but it's not going to be, It might be a little windy, might be a little loud, but hopefully you'll slide right through this little open area where it's not too bad at all. Severe thunderstorm warning, a new one has been issued. Let's go ahead and jump onto that. Make sure my audio's back up because I did turn it off while I was sitting here just clacking away on the keyboard. New warning now. This came out at 8:51 for southwestern Caldwell Parish in north central Louisiana, Grant Parish, LaSalle Parish, southeastern Wynne, and southeastern Natchitoches Parish. That, see it pop in right there. Severe thunderstorms were located along a line from near Winfield. So again, Winfield close. I think the worst of it's going to stay just to your south. From near Winfield to 23 miles south of Montgomery, or along a line from near Winfield to 26 miles south of Natchitoches, moving east now at 45, so it's getting move on. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and small hail possible, so we're not looking at large hail. Locations impacted include Winfield, Gina, Colfax, Alla, Midway, Urania, Pollock, Dry Prong, Tullis, Georgetown, Rochelle, Zenoria, Williana, Fishville, Bentley, Lake Ayat, Rogers, Nebo, Joyce, and Standard. So if you're in those areas, you have a severe thunderstorm warning. I like to see these turning from severe into special weather statements. So that's not severe, moving down there toward Lake Charles and DeQuincy. Some good news there. And this one still looks severe to me, but it looks like it's, again, more linear, not just that little kidney bean of a storm it was earlier that was putting down some probably pretty significant hail. Really, the two cells we're really watching right now are this one that is becoming more of a wind issue as it bows out toward Gina there. That's accelerating to the east. That'll eventually head in toward Alla, Jonesville, Gina. All of Grant Parish could be impacted by that. And then the strongest wind on this one is pretty much looking like it's along and behind the storms. A lot of times it's more on that front side. I think the worst of this one's going to come in on the back side of these storms. So that's what we're looking at right now. 50-mile-per-hour wind gust was measured at the Natchez, Louisiana Mesonet station south of Natchitoches at 8:20 with these storms. Let me take a look at the power outages. 1650 in Sabine, 1800 Natchitoches, up to 500 now in Wynne Parish without power. So 500, yeah, we're at about 4,000 without power right now. Just thundering there. Anything bad on Fort Polk? I mean, it's going to storm, but I don't see any sort of like rotation with that. You can see the line of gustier winds that's coming through, just about to hit Rose Pine and DeRidder. And up to the north, there comes your little, I guess we'll call that a little bow, moving out from Natchitoches and accelerating across Grant Parish toward LaSalle and southern Wynne Parish, and even a chunk there of southeastern Natchitoches Parish. You're in that as well. Back to regular old reflectivity. Seeing if I have any updated stuff. I like to see that the updraft is weakening on that cell there in Grant Parish, because that means we're seeing less of a hail threat. But on the other side of things, could be some wind out of this. Buddy lost a trampoline. I believe he's closer to Natchez than Natchitoches. He's down in this area. He said, I had to stand against the door so it wouldn't blow open. And Miss Linda, this is your son, Miss Linda Turner. This is your son telling me. His son screamed, call the police. The trampoline is in the front yard, all mangled up. So that was around here. Yeah, this is definitely, this is trampoline taking level wind out of these storms for sure. If you're east of this line right now, first off, most of Natchitoches Parish, while it's windy, all of Sabine Parish, you're out of the severe threat now. So Natchitoches, Manny, you're good to go. Fort Polk, you're about to be out of the worst of this. It's a quick hit, and then it moves out, and then it gets windy, and then we see the potential for that colder air to really come in and just charge across the area. But these storms are looking like they're in a downward trend right now. Let's take a look at lightning. So this is good news for anybody who's in these areas. A lot less lightning out of this one. You can really see that thing's been weakening. Actually, it looks like we're seeing less lightning out of this as well. Let's see what the trend has been on this. So from 800 plus down to 466. I will take that any day of the week. We're seeing a weakening trend on these. That one did not get a severe warning there over southwestern Beauregard Parish. This one over Vernon and northern Beauregard, that's our strongest storm right now. And this one still producing a little bit of lightning, but does not look over the top strong to me. I think that's going to be more of a wind threat right now. So let's see. How about 10 o'clock, Wyatt? You're good, brother. I think you are just, it's not going to, I wouldn't even worry. I think you're all set, bud. Simsport as well. Avoyelles Parish, this thing's going to be weakening as it comes through. So there is a tornado watch in place. I think the tornado threat is very tiny. All right. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. Again, a notable downward trend on these lightning strikes out of these storms. Most of them coming out of this cell right here in Vernon Parish. That's now moving over the camera side. Actually, let's check it out. Pay no mind to that. That's a random wind chill map. So this is the Leesville camera. It is rocking and rolling. You can see it. You can kind of see it blowing in the breeze up there. Let me just check and see if I have any good wind readings on that one. Nothing too strong. But I think it might be a bit stronger than what I'm showing. I'm going to check and see if we've had any good wind gusts out at Fort Polk. No, the wind actually looks like it's calming down a good bit out ahead of the line, and then it really picks up behind it. So we have not seen that. It was gusting up over 30 miles per hour for a good part of the day. But that line should be just about there right now. Again, Natchitoches did gust to 54 on the backside of that line. Let's see if they went any higher. Nope, 54 was their highest gust. Still gusting to about 30, and it went from 75 at 8:15 to 58 at 8:35. So a 17-degree drop in about 20 minutes. Shreveport's still hanging at about 60, but when you get up into Idabel, Oklahoma, kind of near Broken Bow, they're down to 44. So that's that secondary surge of cold air that's going to come in. Here's a look at radar once again. Again, we are seeing a weakening trend on this storm, though it was enough to keep that severe thunderstorm warning going because, again, 54-mile-per-hour wind in Natchitoches as it was weakening a little bit, but that's just because we have that front that's moving in, and we have a lot of wind attached to that storm due to that front. And then behind it, for a good long while, we're going to see that wind staying up. Leesville, you're probably missing, it looks like most of Leesville, especially north of Leesville, you missed the worst of it. If you're down toward New Lano, toward Walmart, something like that, you might have even seen some small hail. But a mile north of town, you heard thunder and it barely rained. So that just shows you weather forecasting is fun. Those are our two warnings right now. Let me go over and look at the comments here. Cold gust of wind right now. Yeah, this thing's not going to give us a ton of rain. So if you need more rain, this is not the storm system for you. Jonesville, Gina, you're going to get hit over the next hour or so, but I think that storm's weakening. So even by the time it gets to Gina, I mean, I don't know, it might not be severe at that point. Oh, no, trees were popping all around in Verda. So still some strong wind on that one. That's what that's telling me. Doesn't take too much to get that brain working. So Verda, let's see, trees were popping all around us and Verda power is out. Okay, there you see why. There comes that line right through there. Let's go with the velocity. There you go. That's the leading edge of it right now, just about to Dry Prong and just into Georgetown. It looks like it's through Colfax. You can see that gust front shooting out there toward Boyce. And as that happens, what I'm hoping is that outflow brings the cool air and it cuts off the energy source for that storm. And possibly that is what's happening, and that's why we've seen it weakening here over the last few scans. This one down here, I don't see that outflow. So this one's still more anchored onto that front and looking pretty stout. Simsport down the line, you have a threat for a storm, but I think it's going to be weakening as it comes through that area. This one even looks a little bit weaker than it did just 20, 30 minutes ago. Everything's in kind of a weakening phase. I'm just checking damage stuff and all that. Checking the damage report thread. Why is Mother Nature so mad at Louisiana? Good question. She's mad at a chunk of the area right now. Or a chunk of the country, I should say. Where did that one go? See, I see what you guys... I see it's hard to keep up with all this stuff. Hail in the Berkman community north of Bastrop. So out of our area, but that looks like it's probably an 1.5 inches in diameter. Pea-size hail, Flora, and Natchitoches. That was about 20 minutes ago. Tons of June bugs in Leesville. Watch out for that. Let's see. Ruston is cooler. Yeah. It's going to get a lot cooler after this thing comes through. Ruston got hail. A little bit of hail. I'm getting comments all over about the June bugs falling like crazy. That's kind of cool. Not too bad in Manny. Okay, not seeing widespread damage stuff here. Basically, I mean, yes, my buddy did lose his trampoline, so that's not great. But we can handle a few blown away trampolines over a lot of the stuff we've seen before. 1 second, checking things out here. Okay. This is the only line. Crowley, I think any sort of tornado threat's really low. Area wide, I don't see much of a threat. I'm never going to say nothing. But no, I'm not seeing that. Let's do a big picture look at things. All the warnings and stuff on. I mean, winter weather advisories back into Missouri, blizzard warnings up through Michigan and Wisconsin, winter weather advisories into the Northeast. This storm system stretches from the Gulf Coast way up into Quebec. So big time snows up there, several feet of snow in the UP of Michigan, north woods of Wisconsin. And for us down here, it's just been a severe fiasco, but not terrible. I mean, you can see how that line's pretty much weakening. There's your little bow echo. There's the other core that I'm watching. I'm going to go back to our regular radar. So basically, that's just a composite of all the radars in the country. And it puts them all together so I can show you a clear picture of things like I just did. But down here, we want to get in and see more of the granular type data. And that's what we're seeing right now. As storms approach from the west, it looks like we're filling in just a touch along that. Nothing shocking. Random lightning strikes out ahead of it. See this? That's coming out of the anvil, folks. You got to be inside. That stuff bothers me. I don't want you to be standing out watching lightning 10, 15 miles away, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, that wasn't fun. Strikes down to 400-ish. We are down from about 700. Severe thunderstorm warnings continue until, let's see, 9:15. This one's until 9:45. Hearing about power outages in Montgomery, Louisiana. Looks like some on the west side of DeRidder. Power outages west of DeRidder on Don Plush Road, just west of Canfor and PCA plants. The tornado watch is continuing for a little while, but has been canceled for Bienville, Claiborne, DeSoto, Lincoln. Oh, it moved. Red River, Shelby, Red River Parish, Louisiana, Shelby County, Texas, Union County, Arkansas, Union Parish, Louisiana, and Webster Parish, Louisiana. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect. That's this one up here in Caldwell, Grant, Wynne, and parts, or all of LaSalle. And then here's our warning down here. We'll see if they're going to reissue that. If not, I might just go. So no more lines behind this. There's going to be another little wave that comes through, but it's in the cold air. And like I've been saying, that could actually squeeze out a few pellets of sleet overnight. And I can't even rule out a few snowflakes. Could just be rain. It's going to be near 40 when it happens. But the thing is, with all that dry air overhead, it's going to dry out it's going to cool as it falls through that drier air. When you put moisture in with drier air, it cools things off. It's called the wet bulb effect. So we're going to get some wet bulbing. The northern end of that storm continues to weaken. So up around Ala, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, but I'm not worried. Looks like we have a decent little pulse up in the core there near Williana. Possibly some hail once again between there and Lincecum. So if you are out there, let's say you are just hanging out watching on Bell Road, just west of Breezy Hill, you might have some hail falling. I don't think it's going to be a long, sustained bout of hail, though. Don't think it'll be producing any damage for you. Pitkin and Cravens, you've got that cell just to your west. That's going to come on through. I just don't think the tornado threat's high anymore. I never thought it was high, but I don't see... I see a wind threat right there through DeRidder. Heard of some power outages there. But as you get to the east towards Sugartown, Kipling, Dry Creek, maybe that knocks out some power down that way. And we're seeing some pretty solid wind along that line that's already knocking out some power in Grant Parish and has in other areas as well. Let me check those power outages. We're up to 1900 in Natchitoches, 1700 Sabine, 600 Wynne, 644 in Grant. 1 in Rapides. 1 person. So overall, we're looking at about 1,200, 3,100, 4,800 power outages in the area, roughly. But it's not showing any in Beauregard Parish right now, and we know there are some. So it's probably more than that. And they are going with a special weather statement on that storm, which means it's not a severe thunderstorm warning. Can Pollock go to sleep? You're struggling? I don't want to lie to you. You've got the storm coming in. I mean, you've made it this far. I think you can go to sleep. I don't think there's going to be an issue. But can I rule out a limb falling on your house or something? No, it just doesn't look. It doesn't look like much to me right now. The velocity is not overly strong. Not seeing rotation. There's going to be gusty wind all night. So just don't forget that. We're going to have gusty winds continuing well behind this line. But you see how they went from the warning to the special weather statement? Yeah, that's my sign to just go ahead and knock off for a while. I may come back on live later if I see something, but I did kind of like what we did earlier. And what I'm going to do probably going forward in these severe events where it's higher end, and I have little lulls in between things, I'll just kind of leave it up like that because I don't mind. I'm not doing anything crazy. I mean, every once in a while I kick my feet up. I do this. I'll show you the exact pose. So if we can do it like this, where I'm just laid back and comfortable, I could sit on here for 24 hours. Now, we're not going to do that, but yeah. So anyhow, little informal around here, but you know that. Can you go to sleep now? Yeah, Joe. I don't know where you are, but you can go to sleep. The wind is scary in Boyce. Yeah, so that's right there. That's the outflow boundary that came through. So there's not much of a storm with this here, but there's going to be that gusty wind. So what I think I'll actually do is just go stand outside and enjoy that because there's not a lot of lightning. Hardly any at all right here. Let's see. Let me check it. Is it safe? It's pretty safe. Can Alexandria go to sleep? Yes, go to sleep. You guys are fine. Special weather statement. Not even a severe thunderstorm warning. It's just going to be kind of windy out there. So 50-mile-per-hour winds are possible. Let me see. I'll read you the text on that, and then I'm going to get out of here. At 9:11 p.m., Doppler radar was tracking thunderstorms along a line from 8 miles north of Timber Trails to near Boyce to near LeCamp. Movement was southeast at 35 miles per hour. Wind gusts up to 50 and pea-size hail are possible. We can manage that. Let me check the lightning counter. Down from 500 to 400, and really it's all in that cell right there. That is not severe anymore, or at least does not have a warning. So I'm going to get out of here. I can hop back on so quickly if needed. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. You can watch the cameras, watch the lightning, watch the temperatures fall. And I'm going to basically, I'm going to set an alarm to get up and check the radar probably about 4 or 5 o'clock. And I'll let you know, I'll post if anything's happening anywhere. And of course, I covet your reports on that as well. Could be something, might be nothing. You live in Louisiana, so it's tough to get that to happen. That's it for now. I will have an update for you at some point, maybe tomorrow morning. I don't know when it'll be, but I'll see you then.
No matter the weather, Alexandria Emergency Hospital is always here for you. Rain or shine, our doors are open 24/7 to provide the care you and your loved ones need fast. Every second counts, and Alexandria Emergency Hospital is here to help you through